Now, the African Transformation Movement has resubmitted a request for a motion of no confidence against President Cyril Ramaphosa. The party claims ever since he came into office, irregular expenditure in state-owned entities has increased. ATM says no one has been held accountable for this. For more on this, we're joined by ATM Sibusiso Mncwabe. Good afternoon, Sibusiso. Thank you very much for your time. So there's much to discuss with you, but let's just start with the latest development, which is your resubmission of your no confidence motion application. Just talk to us about that application.
Well, thanks, good afternoon, Mfundo, and the viewers. Yes, I can confirm the ATM has resubmitted the motion back to the office of the Speaker. This is after the ruling, the progressive ruling of the Supreme Court of Appeal in the matter. There is a thorough of considerations that the court took into consideration when granting the matter to our favor. So we have resubmitted it. We are waiting for the Speaker to process it accordingly. And we have no intentions whatsoever to withdraw our motion. We are going ahead with it. And as we have seen that the Supreme Court of Appeal gave a thorough lecture to the outgone Speaker on how this matter actually should have been handled according to the Constitution, emphasizing the right.
Yeah, let's actually touch on that because we didn't get an opportunity to speak to you after that judgment itself. The judge obviously didn't pronounce on the correctness of the decision not to grant a secret ballot, but rather pronounced on the proper exercise of the Speaker's discretion. It seems onus should have never been on ATM to make out a case for that secret ballot. What did you initially make of that instruction to make out a case for the secret ballot in the first instance?
Well, we as a party, we feel firstly vindicated with what the court have said. Remember our initial stance when we submitted the motion. We were told by the Speaker to provide reasons ourselves why we think it should be the secret ballot. And unfortunately, the Western Cape High Court went that route. But when you listen carefully on what the majority judges said in the appeals court, that it was not really on it's our duty. The onus was not upon us to prove that these are the reasons that it should be the secret. The court went on to say the Speaker should have looked at the best way of members of Parliament to exercise their oversight role to hold the executive accountable without fear or favor. So it gives the clear picture how the previous Speaker really has misunderstood her job and the Constitution as well.
I'm glad you're saying that she misunderstood. You're not necessarily saying she was mischievous in any way. That's good and well. At least it's a good way to start. You're positive about this. But then to the secret ballot itself. We saw the outcome when they had this very secret ballot against former President Jacob Zuma. Whatever the issues in the political parties, it's rare for them to take instruction from another. The ANC prefers, if we're going to confine ourselves to the ANC, they prefer a managed process. If a leader is to step down, they want to do it themselves. They don't compromise the whole process and everybody, including cabinet ministers. So don't you think this might very well be a futile exercise because it's been done before?
Well, we do not think that way. Firstly, let's agree that it's against the Constitution to go for a political party, for a head of a political party, to go to the caucus of his party and tell them how to vote. I mean, that on its own is unconstitutional. You are actually making a threat to your caucus to say this is the marching order. So we are saying as an ATM, all members of Parliament have constitutional right to exercise their oversight role without fear and favor, using their conscience. Talking to everyone in that Parliament, we are not scared that someone will say, all my caucus will do this. Because as I was saying, it's an unconstitutional way. The recent judgment of the court was very clear on that, on how members of parliament must be protected in order that they use their rights without any interference, without being given any threats by whosoever. So that's why we are saying we are going ahead. Yes, we know what happened in the previous administration, but that does not mean at our disposal to try to hold the executive accountable.
No, it will be interesting to see what happens in Parliament. But then to yesterday's 18th Amendment Bill, which sought to amend the Section 25. Many have criticized ATM and the EFF for speaking left but walking right yesterday. Perhaps they didn't listen to your address, so for the benefit of those who might have missed your address, just talk to us about your reservations around the whole nil compensation debate and the whole making explicit what is implicit in the Constitution, as the ANC has put it. Talk to us about that.
Well, let me come clear to say the ATM fully supports the expropriation of land without compensation. That's our position. We do not support any manufactured kind of a bill. Remember, when this proposal, this motion was brought in Parliament, not even in this administration, it was clear that we want to be
Oh, Sibusiso, and I wanted to hear your views on that bill. But unfortunately, we've lost him. Hopefully another time we'll get to unpack that matter and find out what next for the land reform program in the country, or at least as far as they're concerned. But still